Welcome to our new global media talk show. Today is February 1st, 2026. Today we're going to be speaking about the formation of UMC, Cyprus poll that just came out, and the position of UMC on that, and of course, coalition talks to halt Barrow's third term bid to the State House. I'm pleased to have our guest here, the spokesperson of UMC, Kemo Bojang. Kemo, welcome to the show.
Allah Baraka Bake. Thank you very much.
Welcome. And I have my co-host, another co-host, Rajang Memo Sam Ceesay from Indiana. Sam, welcome to this.
Thank you. Yep.
And Drammeh hosti Momodou Sawaneh in New York. Kemo. Kai fangol ko nyaade jarama.
Jam tam.
Ya mbe konton na mbe siare la. Sign na audience solisa for jumala mu Kemoti. Kemo little bit background. Then sinadu kacha nyum fonkono new party nying form ta nyadile anin kumol men be for the bra form ta anin albe position jelle sign kawdo man din then after sinadu se press la poll ni men ya lon ka fintita teng ye kuma kawol men faje other parties another party la position odo. Then of course coalition gamol men be kika isimol bonde akala mamune beje. Baraka ba.
Allah baraka ambal konton ambal jaila. Thank you very much. Koyemen for Ntolu as a party or ntamu jumaldi follow. My ntamu Kemo Bojang mbota bakawle. Bakawta mbakunda. Mbarinkunda wolmu badi bumkolete from Kerewan.
Oh, very
good. Kunda. Yeah, it's from Kerewan. Yeah, but in that mama, I like Kemo Ceesay. Ate sita Joshua ne, atalam nun Joshua almam kodoti. Na paternal side, mama Muse Kundem Bojan. He used to be a Board of Health official, a senior Board of Health official, and generally in dollars who politic cordal. Now father they were part of the people who set up the NCP. Then that morph into becoming the UDP and with the PPP and GBP, well, as a Camara party. So generally, in a nutshell, ni buluta Bakau, there's a high tendency you get politically inclined based on the fact that Bakau is a very charged political community. But notwithstanding, our parents will have always been professionals in their doings. Now that was the direct officers Children's Village. Yeah, Gambia Atelier bill from zero ground of after Drammeh. He retired in 2021, and then another case Switzerland in Austria consulate in the Gambia. And don't SOS school from nursery all the way to high school. Ngake Walton, but I was on Tata University of the Gambia. Jena history story. But I was on 2-year at the political parties studying academy in Abidjan. It was an online program, but in a graduation in Ivory Coast, Abidjan. But out of Fanang, I'm a fellow of the National Democratic Institute, National Ila Fenko, NDI. Well, the PPSA is by the NDI, and also the Republican IRI, International Republican Institute for Namu McCain Fellow through the Arizona State University and also the International Republican Institute. I am a Mandela Washington Fellow through the University of Davis, California, or University of California, Davis. So all in all, I'm time with a diploma in international relations with a focus on China-Africa relations at the China Youth University of Political Studies in Beijing. So generally, this is who I am. I'm a councillor of the KMC. This is my second term. Ning Bensudai Doko sang for almost close to 10 years. And I used to be the National Youth Secretary General of the United Democratic Party before the evolve like an own movement form or an own political party form. So all in all, Kemo Bojang. I come from very humble beginnings, and that has played a part in my upbringing as a young politician who wants best for his country and to see how best contribute to national development to Nyami. Yes.
Baraka. Kemo, ila resume beti ada bake and a political background so and don't look for a political kono even in UDP. ibe UDP idunta ibe farmasata je andon ye call start je dunale saying Kemo monati naiti bota UDP inata ka join ye movement o me alon ko a formta ikafa UMC and it jikisi falso UMC la quarter.
Well, Ndola Bo UDP is not coming from Mole. It's not based on prejudice or it's not based on malice, but it's just a reality. There was a need for a revival in our political context or in our political conversation. Dolcam Unite Movement as a national conversation. It's not in as much as it's an entity, but we believe it's a national conversation in the sense ko kachala meango gambedi ngol nyanta sozola. What kachale manke and untol jigida control funding kill fan na future Gambia political kono Gambia as a whole ala future nyanda tambela bedami. That being the case, Jeko Gambia Cabin 2016 for B. Now politics has been polarized, and the majority of poll men ke kanyo nennom kanyo wurunya for kanyo tinya kanyo kajavi. Ntolko unyanda final. But in belief of the vehicles currently available cannot drive us to the promised land we're looking at. We felt it is important to come up with a new direction and a new vehicle ambitional propeller. Amanke ko nimmel no ko kili fana mala fo ko kili but change is something that's very difficult and mo jama bu hakeno and sometimes ni ko mo be batna pour ngata nyola do la ka koleale. That being the case ntol not a bold step ta ndaga men fo lon control bravery like and it's something me along I think everybody needs to come on congratulate because it's difficult to start something from zero ground of kasele asadian ntol be because I mean akira nyawo nyambe to so political Zitano Matala Mansaka funding kill men be JB men enjoy kam fanambe wala enjoy kato imanunti iman londo sotonti iman by political but neaja ntolta opposition on ko we want the change now I believe the controller generation especially the millennials the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas men kera wala mko we have lost faith in the political system amanke Gambia damari but globally you look at America and then you look at the voting patterns you look at England and Brexit is an example of how the millennials and Gen Zs didn't vote because they didn't find it worthy or they don't have faith in the political class. That's the same thing that happened in Gambia. And all of these surveys and in Sapras Bondi has shown the chunk or majority of voters still are undecided. Why mentally Gambia will be they have lost faith in the political entities men be in place. They're looking for a revival, they're looking for an alternative. And Unite Movement for Change not alternative la dealer walatina bin tolfana wuljan kombe beduna political kono and build something for ourselves. We can ride on na former party la glory. That's fine and nice. But nothing beats building your own entity. Gambia di kumandi ni enyo blumuta ngatama ngaji molo fala masamana na nyadra nyumbanko.
So ila kumo nyata bake bari mu jama kamen fo wolem atul frasita membala wol fen ko soto bake le ye grassroots soto le ye structure soto ye die hard UDP la mul buka jija wole ka fo bake. Okay, so atul frasita frasta nyaming ay diamo samanang comme alim UDP ko tema andung comme dol ko jamfa fanan samanang so wo kamala mu jama dol be je wol kafta ma pour ka farasi bar dol be je o dol fon murtale back to UDP saying iti amirato la nyim faraso among UDP jija saying atul albe mo bondila minto ngalo abina kela kuleti me yalon ko albita maybe alita Barrow ya ale demanding tombon woto alita Esa Falia maybe o doy ale demanding tombon je so iko atol me mera tombon dro general be futala pro ali lo kake presidential fanko material or presidential fanko presidential fanko so like how MPP and UDP is.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's what is most important in school. Even UDP coming for Biko, Abugajija, or Fananda Tateme. Every party or everything begins with a single step. So if it took UDP 30 years, Puria, Kukarafobia, Futadame, our biggest weapon and our biggest strength is we have time. Ndolmu funding kelleti. I'm 30 years old. Talib he is also almost 38, 39. Ibrahim Adiwalam Tollaki Balt. So you can see we're a very young movement. We're young people, we have time on our side. And don't mankorando. So betrayal. I think they don't know the definition of betrayal or a mal on political parties ka work nyame. Because political manke culty. Political manke fraternity ti me alon ka sa foko ni bije. Idinene manyana bola je o inila because mirror political mirror ti. Political ko fana mo ko ti ka jibeni mol mel hakil nyam kilomati. So ni daga fa moy ko ni botante kan ite ente betrayal or ite manyana bolante kan what then ite manke political entity because political parties keep on evolving, they keep on coming up with institutionalization. So hani UDP memu UDP majority of media form ibota NCP level NCP kabra ka form wal fanam farasta PPP level ka bring Sheriff Dibaning jawara problem also. So if ntoloko control mo betrayers that what then for it all fana jawara betray level. So these are the logics that we need to put in place because something cannot be good for the goose and then it's not good for the gander. It doesn't work like that. So ntala position of world ko. If something belola can work like, then we need to do what's right. Ntolo for us, a political form, is based or party form is based on values and vision. Niaje ko any more values mange killing anymore. There's nothing wrong in stepping aside and in kajibe. Me along with it after and there's nothing wrong in competing. In fact, it is healthy in every democracy. Multipluralism is a factor of democracy. So for it all after muneke pur mole tuje no mota kala ndol fana mbaji bela mental arrange and don't take a man for an acronym betrayal we will go with Barrow ngara Barrow ya menso tara jenga so. But I think what they need to do is to control bravery, control encourage, and control congratulate. Mpareta batala, mpareta purka ura, mpareta kadoko. So that cannot be betrayal. In fact, ntabuka ni moyo of ntabuka down because itala londo down and ila hakilma down wala atina. But for us, we have mutual respect from Drammeh and ila leadership, and that will continue. Even though some of them have come out to say very, 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 terrible things about us, Hanila Alfal, even though they have said, Yakumakulumba Alfal, Ntolu Mabari, Ntolu ta Wajibela, Ntolu Niti Momentum Bitaji, Ntolu Wale Mutaka and Waleje, and Yantol Kulu Wale Nyama, Moeka Alfa Hormalea Bunya, so Ntolfana Wale Canadoro. But I can assure you, the same right, the Mensotoka United Democratic Party form. Dolphina the same right la sotoka na party form andum ya question yenga iko UDP buka jija. There's no political party member buka jija because ila numbers have never been the same in all elections. It is either Elafala or Aikala. So then ika jija. But in the sense, Ntolu we are a national movement. Ntolu we are a national party. We are not here to pick and choose from any political party. We are here to call on Gambians. So na kidemo Gambian oldi ya je control kamen wafi is asanno. Then they invite Campuri and join. If you are from UDP, that's fine. If you are from NPP, that's fine. Ngatula afala control political enemies sort of. Ndole NPP man can enmity, UDP man can enmity, intol corruption and enmity, hunger, illegal migration, irresponsible governance, unemployment. These are the vices we are fighting against. But until we are not fighting against Hussein Odago, we are not fighting against Adamo Barrow, we are not fighting against any political leader or any individual or entity. Ntolka kelo kena bankole pur kana bankobo. So ning mo jikita kona kelo mkilimati, then definitely you are welcome to join us in this fight.
Very good. So janinka mkana partners thank you. Mbodo ngani question kile nyirinka. Iko kumi atola nyin fero nyin atabitale. Ameta tabili ne sana mota bring ya talib bring usinu contesta and talib ya la fanko nyin withdraw. Iko fanang alkamen fo wolam almiro le falenta. Ya mul alla camp ka wole fo ka miro le falenta aninka je winnable candidate atol lafta wole al lafta al believe ko talib is the winnable candidate. Yeah. So a winnable candidate it even muna follow to ka fana fansa na mole iko a winnable candidate because that is umuku multimedia lonko aka for back. Yeah, because hanin coalition talk member caring inanta ala modul nyininka fo ningatara UDP wala leader Tambita. I think it was Karafa Sonko, yeah. Ningatara al wala leader Tambita. I'll be bulala normal bang, even though I'll butter put you in kono because Talib was the one that Ali Amir winnable candidate or you are sure about. But say woman flag bearer soto, I'll saying I'll taral for because one winnable candidate. So you winnable candidate and the fact that Kwon Yin meta tabilale because Usenu fa wolof ako dafa yaga toga I meta tabilale, so society munefu kumolto then Sam Kana.
Well, yes, atela mi rolo moti. Bari aten tol na te do ko menke ateta follow ko and tol at any point in time tol nene ku kala wala nene long kanke me alon ko wasaten ate santol question. Things didn't go the way they were supposed to go and wasi faga ke political economy. But I think it would be very unfair for ate sawo fontoli because there was nothing political nga menke me alon ko ma fate wala na ma kala mutandala. In fact, some of Ntola activities, he was taking part in it. But I mean, divorce wala tala akakoleale. Bebuka handle the same way. Some handle it gracefully and some don't. But in the end, we have to understand ko moyale be wonyamadro and we have to respect konga memfo. Yantol kulu alfa bunyani alfa horomola. Me o mentambe tantol na te man tolta fintila ko ofo. Because nga bunyale nga horoman jikita ko there's so much more to come in the future. But I come for Karafa Sonko men for Lamin Manele follow Finta Jako, Ntolmu cancel it. And there's no way it only Ntolbe Doko Kala. So I think Karafa Koko, he doesn't feel ko Ntolnisa Doko, that's up to him, buddy. I cannot even personally, even as spokesperson, I cannot give an answer to that because what will be a team decision that we will take, and that will be a united decision we will take. But I can tell you, Control at Unite, we are open to working with every Gambian and every well-meaning Gambian. Granted, ntol filtale ko ntoliye men support during the primary wala sa Gambia bonu batakono bari ntol kabo UDP amanke doronko ntol la candidate are resigned from the primary. There were many factors that led to that. One is even from 2022 ntol be amoyle melkata jan during the Makati primary. In fact, someone like me, I lost my National Youth Secretary General position because of my proximity to Talib. Karafa Sonko lost his campaign manager position because of his proximity to Talib. So the leadership of the United Democratic Party knows this. They know what prompted or what led to us losing our position. And even people like Alaji S. Dabo were threatened they would lose their position because of their proximity to Talib. People like Ibrahim Adiba also, the same thing happened. So being in for a young call may work out. That's fine. And don't take all of a sometimes things are not meant to happen and you have to admit it. But nobody will tell you when we were in the United Democratic Party, we didn't give 110%. What you are not being fair and honest to us. So we give a 100. If it doesn't work out, so be it. But this is why today in Kalono, with our heads held high anywhere in this country, because we gave our 100 in our trial in 2021. We ran the best campaign the party had ever seen. And unfortunately, among Ganye, Ntolo Muruta Molka, Nalamoy Molka Memfo, and Tabata Bakao Dame, for Nikel Kamem for Nyolam Ko, Ntolobe Patio Barim Batata. And we don't want to lose again. And we want a face and a change. And I think it's reasonable. If you have tried elections 5 times in Manganye, there's nothing wrong for people to call for a change of leadership. And I think that's something was a genuine call. Nim Pati Fananko, then that is fine. If someone like me feels I cannot continue to support that, then I have every right to leave. Among a konga molefa, mofa, no political choices, and no choice at all. Kabrinka join party okono, momang force, momang bribe or anything. So if I make the choice to leave, I have every God-given right to leave. So but again, konga memfolum. When it comes to coalitions, if the process is meaningful, we will definitely be on the table to listen to what the Gambian people are saying. But we don't just want to get into a coalition for the sake of it. Ningo coalition, or what we want to do is called Lafaduna coalition or and it has to be a coalition based on value. We want to be part of a coalition with value of Falaji. I can't go 2016. Okay, 2016, Koya Jameta by all means necessary. Post Jammeh, we never really had a plan. It cannot be business as usual. There needs to be a plan. There needs to be a roadmap of how do we want to run or govern this country post coalition 2026, for example. And until unite, that is what we are saying. It's not a direct automatic qualification to lead or to lead a coalition. If we go through a process and the process elects anybody as the leader, and we signed through the process to be part of the process, then by any means necessary, we will support that process.
Okay. Sam, na co-host Sinano, I have more questions, but na co-host Sinasai. Yeah.
Yep. Kemo, thank you. First of all, thank you for taking this time. Puruka joining talk show into, and then Purukanaka Mola Yinin Karol Jabi, and to shed some light on some things as well. So until Yinin Kar follow moment in fact, this will be a two-part question. Yinin Kar follow moment walamu. That's exactly what I said some time ago. Bring Ameko Altolu Farasita from UDP. Time is on your side. You guys are young. Time is on your side. If time is on your side, why didn't you wait for one more term, one more election in 2026 year? Because knowing that Dabo at this point, handing a lot of UDP candidacy as a party flag bearer. There is a chance that Ninga Winter Fanang, he would only serve one term as a president, right? Until I believe me today. But I may be wrong. But so Ntanga Jinyaming, Ningal Tutano UDP would have given you guys a better leverage for running Ninta the 2026 election if Dabo stands for UDP, and then whether he wins or not. Atebe Jenkela step aside. Abe Jenkela on the side. At that point, that brings up that chance because you guys have time. He doesn't have time. Dabo's age will not allow him to go into another 10 years or so.
Yeah.
But you guys have the time, and time is on your side. And I think it would have been a better opportunity. The young ones in UDP, primarily men select Aliota as a flag bearer moving forward at that time. So since time was on your side and time is still on your side, that's part one.
Yeah. So what I want to say is called Kabrinda 14, 15 years. I've been in this party, right? And it's the same for multiple people. Ibrahim Karafai, it's the same. Kabri 1996. So I think they've given enough time to the party, and I think they've given enough time of their life to an individual Puruka Yeka elect. And for me, it came for time by side, but it's not even about the individual, it's about the entity that we think can drive that change. Do we believe at this point in time the values and the morals that we used to believe in align with the UDP? I don't think so. And I think for us that's it. It's not just about changing an individual. Personally, for me, it's not. But it's about, do I believe the party is the entity that can drive the country where I want it to go? I have questions and I have doubts, for example. You understand? So for me, in 2021, before the election, we heard statements where party leader himself had said this was going to be his final election. I mean, we heard about it. What video around it. But I mean, he's contesting again. How sure are you, Mr. Ceesay, if we don't win in 2026, in 2031, he's not going to contest again if he's healthy and well? Right. So you cannot prove that, and I cannot prove that.
Yeah, nobody can say that.
So in the end, for me, and I think for everyone is we listen to what the Gambian people are saying. And I believe Nintolka term limits for example, President Barrow term limits at Hela. I think political parties are governments in waiting, and they need to also mirror what they'll do when they're in government. And I think these and many more are issues me along Molka, Molke Mira. And for me, change is the only thing constant in life. It's I believe in one thing one day, tomorrow you get new realizations, you unlearn and then you relearn new things, or you learn new things. And that's the only thing me along being okay, I realize that it's not what I feel and I believe and dunia balwolo You know, so for us, it's more about also taking advantage of the momentum.
Okay.
So I believe for me, this is my second term as a public office holder. Taleb, this is his second term as a public office holder. Habib Ceesay, this is his second term as a public office holder. Karamo Ceesay, and most of them are maintain movement or form. So let's say 2026 come it will be in a second term as public officials. We don't have momentum. We can't really do politics at a grand level. Because you have to admit, yes, song, but the position you hold also gives you leverage.
Yes.
So at least we can use that leverage today. We are at a high momentum. People want us. People listen to us, and we can compete today. No matter what would have been fair in my projection and in my opinion, was Mr. Dab was supposed to be an umpire in this process. You know, it would have been that because you can't compete him in that party.
Yeah.
You know, we can say it's a free and fair process. Granted, it's a free and fair process, but then there's influence. And as far as Atea for what I left, nobody can beat him in that party. You can't. And for me, I believe he has earned it. He's a respected individual, and Adokula earned it. But is that what the Gambian people are asking for today? You know, UDP can want one thing, but is that what Gambia wants? And this is what I keep saying. Yes, we are the biggest, but is your number enough to push you across the line? That is another question you need to answer. And for me, that is where I feel to fail when it comes to asking those questions. And this is where compromise is needed, but you go compromise. Because yes, if I see but the highest you've ever gotten is 23%. Right? And then you want at least 35 to 40% to win an election. You know, you have more to lose than that. So compromise with them, you know, call them over. But my way or the highway, that is what has put us in this position today as a party.
Sure.
So hopefully going forward, we believe now we can invest it into something that we're building ourselves, where we're going to listen to the people, and where we're going to yield and adapt based on the realities we're faced with at every certain period of time of this journey.
Okay. Thank you for that, and well understood. Yeah, ma'am, for now understanding and totally understand. So I'm going to shift from that, take that, and build onto that. Now that you've already shifted from UDP to your own movement, what is going to be the difference? Because you were all brought up in UDP party. Saying al farata jal botaje ali tata la on movement. So I left a Gambiano yal told le ko you are dissociated from UDP. I told me UDP fatalale. What will be different? What will be different for Gambian people to understand?
UDP fatala.
Fatala ha. Munebal ni UDP fatala. Puru Gambiano saja ko. Unifarasta UDP, but they have their own agenda, and this is what they are going to do for Gambia. This is what they are pushing.
Agenda
Yes,
what is that?
Yeah, so ntola positions are ndakame for level nakirambe diamula political kono Gambia. Whatever even memfola be on memfola, someone has said it before us, and there's nothing you're gonna say under the Gambian sun. It's something new, especially when it comes to development or what you are offering. You know, as a party. But in Tolka we believe, we have come with a different, perspective. So for us, generally, what we believe we need to do is, we have to start from the bottom top. Sorry, I didn't say 1 minute.
Namra interruption also. So somebody Jani akana mbe kacha continue ninsam. The Kemo interruption also signed, and maybe Alan politician or Bukabo Tonkola orang, as a spokesperson, maybe ala boss la commande also. But mbe cool be Jabakoto water la janne bi bading Kemo Surujang spokesperson.
So mbenu nadulal tom nal gesto je move ta sang ben na gal dulato wol fana ges na so nka moro nadulato
Ninka mbafuka Yeah, mafukan na guest na phone call ko na viewers ko.
Viewers, yeah.
Kung ibe murukan nan iko sadio la ko mata manke fenko da kata symbole kama. Yeah, so kemo tara symbole kama binara, you know, ka juru majambi. But nana ta be mulla se bidala cypress la ning sam la question on yimbanda cypress la pool men fintida.
Yeah.
Because birinte oje alaftan kumu dimla domanding. Yeah, because nga patiol je nyaming je hani be kafta nyoma sign den kolala proka Barrow boinde because undecided voters malum fa muna na wol fana bukan man decide han sign because wol fana be more confused kan ni be nyinin ka kan undecided.
Yeah. I can say that, you know, because near Jibe undecided voters, political party will be fintikang left and right. You know, too many people, too many parties are coming up. They are confused. They don't know who is who. They don't know who is going to deliver, and they don't know who is capable of winning, you know, this presidency. And they're not sure if that person is going to bring a difference, not operating on the same old business as usual. You know what I mean? So Abatina Moru, yes, they have the right to be undecided. Obatina there are undecided voters. What that also means in another way is they are not convinced enough. Convinced enough to say, yep, this is it. This is the right one. This is what I want. This is the person I want, or this is the party that I want to vote for to be able to bring that change in the Gambia. So maybe but as time goes on, I'm sure they make up their mind.
Yeah. Undecided voters nanta imara mind make up because namon ke wonyama inte count ndibe count la incumbent le kam because ni aje man decide han sign the man person soro puru ini fenke nyole ini oppositional later bari Kemo frenta na da nga dundi kodeke yeah Kemo saying samla second part of the question jabi then after and difference na nga ngini ka kodol aning adu surplus la ko ila fanko kono kosul kono
yep.
Sam, go ahead. Ila second
part. So the question for Nyankona basically atatanata wala what makes you different from UDP? Albemunita nola mola por molsa yes, you separated from BP. I mean not BP, yeah, UDP, but abatana UDP le bari actually be operate la nyade por molsa lon ko tonya. Yes, this is different.
Yeah, so on a personal level, all political parties in the Gambia mirror, right? Because it's more about grassroots, it's more about issue, issue based and everything. But when you look at the structuring and all of that, we're not very different, especially unless when it comes to ideologies. So Ntola Unite, what we are planning on doing, or when we are more of a social democratic party in the sense of we are very big on welfare and providing social safety nets, but also opening markets. Invention or creativity tandem with the support of government or also with the support of the state. But all in all, for now, we want to see how best do we revive industries. Many Alonko have been the cornerstone of our country for a very long time. And when you look at agriculture, for example, how do we move from subsistent agriculture into commercialized agriculture? For example, Gambia cannot compete globally because very important. So it makes it very difficult for us to compete. So how are we going to do that? For example, at SADCO in 2023-2024, the Gambia government gave donkeys to farmers in this country. And dunia more move so it shows where the priority of the country is. For example, you talk about migration also. And and I've lost a lot of friends, I've lost family, I've lost peers because of Mbakwe syndrome. But we cannot also deny the fact that Mbakwe has been one of the biggest levelers when it comes to socio-economic development. Be you know, a lot of families be, you know, are up on their feet is because their children have been able to migrate. And the migration is a fundamental human right, but it has to be, you know, legal. It has to be regular. How do we do that? Is making sure the country or the government of the Gambia is respected globally. Me anko na more financial opportunities to, you know, katama. Be a fellow, you know, when you look at the ban, me anko the American government, yeah, don't they? Even people that want to emigrate can stay with their, you know, with their families or with their spouses. Table. When fatala, you know, holiday visa, you have to put in a bond of $15,000. So and these are factors are going to increase, you know, irregular migration. So how do we make sure lives are not lost? You know, dreams do not continue to perish in the Mediterranean by making sure that we create opportunities and funding can provide an opportunity to put a dignified livelihood of building Bangkok. So these are issues me and control beliefs that we need to look at. Healthcare, for example, is also another part of it. Me uncle, 2 years ago, we lost over 60 babies in Bangkok. Me uncle, they died because Barrow in Bangkok. Many uncle were not even tested to look at their quality. You know, every single day, you know, we hear new stories. Nte nkonde accident was in data back our health center. Sorry to mention, but akonya ko from spirit tambul wala kotondo tambul. Nka already kamune sija. You know, akonya no abijane barabedami asoronne. Nka ko yeah, but then ite you're useless here because ite binta nata jang ite manda mako akonya ibabsha yeta ndemban wala yeta circular hospital. So these are basic things where who continue to you know kind of healthcare, you know, put in a very funny situation. Ajibe kununko dro what's on Gambia dialysis medicines. Me alon ko namol kasula la mele kidney failure soto. Amounts of blood about it was opposite steering you know ning private you know pharmacy. These are issues me uncle Gambia for Gambia musul. Neither the maternity is like a death sentence in Gambia. Because every single week after through you know maternal mortality. New issues may United Women for Change code. We want to focus on these things. Unemployment model with a country population is almost 70% young people. It's very difficult you know Gambia funding business or pretty successful because of the environment conducive. So you'll be able to let me along we're looking at it. Education also is another part. How do we revamp the whole education sector? You know, how do you formalize, you know, vocational training? TVET kana kedronko kafoko. We have had thousands and thousands of students go through the project, but how sustainable has the project been, and how has it changed lives? Granted, I'm a big or huge fan of, you know, skills acquisition and how do you include, you know, skills training into formal education. But also, it's not just about giving them the skills, but it's about empowering them post-skill acquisition. For example, after the Second World War, Europe went through an era of reconstruction. Jumale world champion, world Mechetior champion. We want to develop as a country, we want to develop as a people. It's important purunga na Mechetior bill nge empower nge support. Wasake no nyadi drum wala ni more vocational training for formalizing our support. Yeah, so we are looking at it. Infrastructure, for example. Yeah, granted, good roads, still can be, you know, but it's not just when you talk about infrastructure, it is not just about roads and bridges, but it's about even you know tech. You know, when you talk about the tech infrastructure, telecommunication, you talk about the internet cost. These are because globally, you know, we are moving into a digital space. So how do we continue to compete globally if we cannot get some of these things in place? So we need to look at it. We need to focus on them and justice and governance is also another point we wants to look at it. The Gambia, for example, every single day there's a corruption scandal coming on. You know, there are people now who will be accused contending. But do we even have, you know, how strong are our courts, for example? How, you know, independent are they? You talk about the legislature, for example. May support la nyadi le kabilo someone that are going to be in the interest of the people. These are things we combaji bake and separation of power, making sure the executive is put in check and making sure so many of these things will be and then more and more. In fact, currently we have sent people out into what makes us different is we want to start from the bottom top we don't want to sit in boardrooms, we don't want to sit in conference rooms, come manifesto so we have sent people, volunteers around the country who have taken, with surveys. We have also invited people to give us proposals. We are also engaging everyday Gambians. Proposals, put together, put a manifesto, it belongs to them. We call it the People's Manifesto, and then, the People's Document. I like to give it a sort of an adage, the Gambia is sick, or the Gambia has a lot of potential. He's a young man growing, has a lot of potential, but I started growth last year. So until long doctor or the me along ko natale time be diagnosis level. Or diagnosis by kala nyali le fonsa mo mo la kan kanyin ke ka mo ke dimi. Wala what is affecting them. Me diagnosis dinna binala nga prescription or prescription or wala na manifesto. So ningo prescription or the Gambian on the doctor of Andy le me an ko ba kala na candidate me an ko wala be jarala. And the Ninda, it will go Sananyam and pharmacy to Lopidan, whatever cartel men failing. And inshallah, Neo cartel Fang, will borrow tea, Neo borrow minter, Nadia Gambia Bajaralan, inshallah.
Baraka.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, thank you. So thanks for getting into all those details. But anyway, I'll let Sawaneh continue, and then we'll come back with another question here.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I analyze nyaming ka doctor onying aning medicine onying aning diagnosis nying o ngamera hani le manol bo understand nale. Yeah, saying Kemo suppress la pool I fintin di main sila unsafa sila fa fumba fula jakalo bon fo sila wala warta bon malo because andung ala confusion of anang alafta confusion na demanding as a spokesperson ngamere ya o digest le andung lafta chance delay la ite yimune jiji because ni the popularity la ni the election wala sign 10 Barrow at least the top ngamere 37 or something like that. Bari ni nata Barrow ni modo load like ni min lafta file modo ni man ki Barrow wo nata na for 49 something like that for something wo we mul ko dundi nyamo kono little bit okay because munam ni woto Gambianol Barrow be 36 or 35 woto Gambianol amanka ko Barrow is their number one choice. So we will interfere. So secondly, niye mol nyininka Barrow la doku wala. Hani ya jame me ko ngafo ya jame nga bondi jang by through coalition. Wole la doku farmaseta Barrow tadi. Kulu so ya tandi nyame. Yo, but particular fanang many be sambo soto. Ngamero UDP be 20 something. Barrow is like
UDP be 20, yeah.
20. But UMC, surprisingly, if you follow, they were a little higher than now.
UMC in Naman Finti in a survey. That was Talib Bensouda as a candidate. And I love that well clarified.
Okay. Because no question of announced so thank you for clarifying that. Talib as a candidate, what if you didn't know? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Talib was 19%, Hussein Dab was 18%, Barrow was around 32%.
Okay, that was candidate mode. Okay, thank you so much for clarifying that. So but saying Hani will be I told the point to jitted I told the point to be damning, even though this is the first appearance thing. Amankal bulu terema kutiba wana amankal bulu mira.
No. I mean nim findita no nyaman na points of the higher I would question. Are we really growing organically or this is something that may along go mandra to Africa? You have to be realistic. Your movement started 3 months ago. There's no way you believe or you want to feel you're going to be the biggest party as of now. But what it also shows us is Ntolo, for example, Ntolo surveys, we welcome surveys. We are people who believe in data-driven development and data-driven politics. Because I believe like you need to know the numbers, you need to know what the people are saying to be able to address some of the issues that are in plain sight. So Ntolo as a movement, we are glad, we are happy, and we are very satisfied with the numbers we've seen. I mean, shouldn't it be a question called GDC that at 12% in the last election is 1 point something percent? Shouldn't it be a question called APRC may deputy deputy seat full of sort of even 1% sort of in the survey? So Ntolo we were launched on the 5th of October 2025. The survey ran from the 1st of November to the 30th of November. So that's like 2 weeks after Ntola launch, the survey roll out. So there are a lot of factors you need to put in place because bias, when you do surveys, there are biases. There are people who also, time and space and matter at the point of time when you survey caring. It's also very important. Ntol Kabinyo survey caring, Unite, I believe, was not a household name at the time because it was just 2 weeks after the launch. 2, I believe people would Gambian people vote for candidates more than they vote for political parties. Thirdly, there was a lot of gray areas. For Talib font the register font the register for Taliban candidate for Taliban candidate. These are all factors it played into it. But if Nteba form was 2 weeks ago, I was able to score Kafanyadi 2%. They've been here for 10 years, 15 years, scored less than 2%. Then shouldn't I be happy with my scores? But what this also shows us is majority of Gambian will left falling on because only 32% said they will vote for Barrow Naketa a candidate. What that shows us is majority of the Gambian will left falling on because near the 56% of the country, disapprove of Barrow handling, handling. That is in the survey. 60% also are dissatisfied with President Barrow handling of the economy. These are also 66% have a negative view of President Barrow's willingness to fight corruption. That is 69% do not trust President Barrow to do what is best for the country. On unity, 67% rate the government performance as fairly bad, generally. 58% of the separate scores also or respondents believe that Barrow performance is worse than allowed 2 predecessors. All of these are more than 50% and close to almost 60% or more of respondents President Barrow standpoint. I think there's an opportunity for us as an opposition because Niajibe Gambian are dissatisfied with the realities on the ground today. And then secondly, the questions that were asked during the survey is who do you think will likely win an election? Hani ndor politician damal some katraji e ka fole ko ning nakara coalition o mankro there's a high likelihood ko Barrow be win. Wo ka fole mo ko mo even opposition or damate. So ka fo ko dron ko you believe ko someone might win is not directly a support for the individual. So if even with that, it's 46% they feel Barrow might win the next election. So that is not a direct translation of votes for the individual. So Ntakam Forum Control, we are with very welcoming of the survey. It just gives us an idea of where to work harder and what to do harder. And we believe surveys need to continue happening. But I can tell you a fact, but again, Ibrahim Adam, for one of our supporters and the executive members in the diaspora, I felt it's just a job at the UUP because if they can control 2%. Ako any more do call a business daughter. Ako ite be 30 years. Wanata kununko. Ako Albert do call to reach a target of 100. Ako itala 30-year time at that job, you were able to score 20%. One out in less than a month, where 2% score. Mathematically, that person is doing better than you. So you know, we're happy with our growth and take coming forward naturally and organically the left and movement to grow wala nyama ante jikita mbe jikirin ko ne unite doesn't is not the next government. We will make up the next government not yet inshallah.
Yeah. So yeah, o senior back. Next one mulfanka wole for maybe I'll current totally. This one maybe don't form about for local but not election of Bodala. Petition form. But saying men form ko coalition no mbe nakunin karo bitala wolto. I told by the so we attended the coalition of Formidable coalition. Abe asikeno Barrow boy because near number so jibe ni kafta nyoma is a fankan wala but memo because coalition la kafo nyoma problem oti always brisa for inception akake moneti wala jumale betambila so saying alon ko ibal contact kane fatiyo do comme UDP ñol wol ka fole ko ni alnaale kafumma because it all mo pati party so same thing abekole ko nin coalition nin definitely nalman agree and nung time balbule time talbulo nalman agree then that is means ko albulo alfayene and don't data ya tandi nyami na lot alfaye because it's a simple majority Barrow be winner. So say it am a coalition dikisi fale coalition la fabe possible la ban fabe possible la for UMC la position atola candidate la ko ni ma la candidate ta fatol be join la coalition no into the ban mune mo la plan out
we are not we will never say it is our way or the highway. We are going to listen to the Gambian people. If it's a valuable process, it's a process that respects everyone mutually. And candidate finna nam hanna man kantola candidate inshallah be bulala coalition on then jikita ko is in the best interest of the country. Okay. Every week we're taking part in coalition discussions and we are meeting partners, but in the end the decision will solely lie on Namolu, Ningwato Sita, and Gambedi one left. Granted, at the moment, the polls in the country feels more Catholic is not a coalition on that. So this is why we are taking part in the conversations that are being held. Ndekame from United Lota Gambedi one leg. Gambedi one Kalama one leg, from the Walekala. So I be rest assured, we are not in any, we're not desperate to be president. But we'll also know the way on the highway. I don't believe that numbers alone do not make an effective government. Numbers alone do not make people win elections. Winning elections goes beyond that. And building strategic partnerships is not just about Kafo Moliko. By force. It doesn't work like that. So new water sita, but don't believe that candidate so he's a unifier. Believe that the person we want to put forward, Abikala Dimensa Gambia someone to the promised land, and Jigitalako Amari Ninga opportunity diala, Laftamangela Gambia Banco Gambadula. So we are also calling everyone to as potential partners, as people they can work with, Puru Lafta Banco for
yeah. Okay. Getting partner co-host Sawaneh. So more for for coalition on Nabe formula, Ningatra UDP Mantara J. What is the other pathway? Because Nato no Mulman Beng, Kadabo Tombong, Kaka coalition Nyaton Koti. Yeah, UDP, Nalone categorically, it is sonna, you don't coalition Konamia along with the leader Mantatala. So, what is the other pathway? Sila Jumale BJ sign, Mensitano, for no silo tata menkita mama kandela patiti UMC isafal venke kiba madi bojang and you name it. The other ones between Barrow men for briefcase party like I call him briefcase I call chafu come and chafu Ceesay. So is there another pathway? And if there's another part, can that stop Barrow?
Oh yeah, I mean the numbers are there. Separately, so the numbers are there. UDP and score People who think UDP might likely win was 20%. People who will vote for UDP was 14%. What that shows is home. Majority of the country are not going to vote for them. So even Nakatako, coalition, the rest of the opposition together is more than their number and Barrow number put together. So UDP doesn't have to be part of the coalition for coalition at work. It can be a three-legged race. We have never had a two-legged race in this country election. There's only 2016. We had Mamakan, we had Barrow, and then we had Drammeh. So and it doesn't have to. We cannot have everybody on the same table. And then after Molly will understand. It's just natural. But I can tell you for a fact, based on the polls, every day majority of the country can mean coalition and sometimes some coalitions they don't partners. Some coalition partners don't even bring people, but they bring credibility. For example, you can argue for 3%, 5%, 7%. But the Khalifa and they bring credibility on the table. So you call Bawanyama, Ntolo Kamen Forum ko B dynamics will fall into Menka 2001, 2006 is different from today. The generation is very different from other generation when it comes to political dynamic. So Ntolo Jikrineko, there can be a coalition, with or without, the UDP. And the UDP and the law for they cannot hold the whole country at ransom. People will do what is needed, and people will do what they believe is the best for the country. Are they going to be part of it? That's up to them. Are they not going to be part of it? That's up to them. But in the end, we will do what is best for us.
After the Tembola, Hanni movie Tanya Pelek and Ela Multa. But in Coles, no suit the men's Borough and that the numbers are there. Or UDP, either they come or.
Sawaneh coming for Gambia Dumolu B, second generation. It's a swing country. Among from swing state, it's a swing country. Majority of Gambians mantara patito. Once they see, you can offer an alternative, they'll support you. So so it is up to us, the opposition, and no party will hold us at ransom. Because in the end, people are going to do what they feel is best for them. In 2021, they believe it was a protest vote. Are we going to let that happen again? That protest vote today will translate into a coalition vote. So if they want to be part of it, that's fine. If they don't want also, well, they can. But I can tell you for a fact, the Gambian people are listening, the Gambian people are waiting, and if we offer an alternative that they believe is the best, they will be part of that.
Very good. Sam. Yeah.
Yep. Well, thank you, Kemo. Definitely. I'm sure that a lot of viewers are going to watch this and listen to your response to all of these questions for sure. So anyway, left academic to Fanam coalition is very important. Coming at the history, 2016 coalition or Jammeh Bondije. And if we can have the same kind of coalition where all the parties come together, I think it will be very beneficial to Gambia. Support more than 2 terms. I don't want anybody, any president, no matter who you are, manyan nakatambi tamfula banko kan tambeta wene sign dunia into coma na kolnya takatambi wene fang. Anyway, so because of that, abakumayala bake, we don't take any chances. Very important that political party like Kafunyoma, Kajeko, Bawo constitutional man pass no, Puruka 2-term limit dunda pass no, what a coalition on Yantakake, Mensatina, as Bondi, as the Barrow government in a 2-term, Sajanisita constitution crossed that may
I agree entirely. Just Nkane Kundubala for me for apology. I don't think term ko Nkanya. It's a moral issue. It shouldn't even be a legal issue. For us, for example, Ntolo as even as councillors, Ntolo constitutionally allow for another term. But the reason based on them 2 terms is enough, or 2 terms are enough, is because we want to set examples. So for more than but it's a moral issue.
It's a moral
question
issue,
you need to answer. And be Adama Barrow, Akoya Jame overstated. But Adam Barrow is now heading towards the Ajamala same numbers. You know, so and we campaign on that Kabrim Bebe particularly. Ante kama for mole wala ko. Ni lafta men kala man sayato. Di ma kano in 10 years. Maybe it's time for you to step aside and hear those aside.
Yeah.
Because governance is a continuous process. Aman ke mo kilin neka beke. Ibeta kelale ya move your dosa ake. And you know, any election of niman ganyan no 2 times. I mean, I believe you need to be able to step aside those of an way I try.
Yep. So Purukan na diamo continuing lafta ko din karo from the daming wala mo. But thanks for chiming in and saying that. Walam nyinti ko. Puro may and sort of, because we have to learn from history. We have to learn from our mistakes. Anybody, especially a whole country. May and sort of in 2016. Coalition Olota Barrow Findita ya Barrow Muta as the flag bearer ya London Jane. I was thinking Halifa Sallah would be the bring coalition reform can maybe Halifa Sallah was the best candidate there at that time, but not as Barrow selected. And then Barrow served this is his second term. Now to avoid surprises, I recommend I've said this over and over, and I said it before 2021's election also. May alonko fatu network yake wala mnyintiko a presidential debate, I'm a big fan of a debate, because you know why? That's how people can know who they are, who these candidates are. Right now, Bensouda is well known in the KMC and Combo area, maybe some spots in certain part of the country. Barrow is well known in the country, and all the political parties, but from the get-go, Gambian people deserve the right to know who they are voting for. And the only way to do that is not through these campaigns. We need to have a Gambia's agenda. Gambia's agenda will question on in a presidential debate. Is your candidate ready to face that? And also, I want you to add this there. Coalition to give everybody a fair chance, right, to be the flag bearer for the coalition. It's best to go through a debate for Gambian people to see more candidate ideology. By answering those questions that are all Gambia related, not any political party related, but all Gambia's we know what Gambia's problems are. The number one problem in our country is corruption, right? And then we go on, all the reforms that needed to happen, and so on and so on. But so questionable will be based on what's good for Gambia, not what's good for any political party. So Itala candidate or new or not, are you guys willing to go and participate in that?
In 2018, when we were running for mayor, we took part in 4 debates.
Okay.
Cabrera 2021 election, I represented Sadabo at 2 debates. So Ntolubuka Bari, idea exchange.
Right. Yeah. So, but this one has to be the person going for the flag bearer.
Oh yes. So Talib was at 4 debates in 2018 when he was running for mayor.
Good.
So he wouldn't have a problem, taking part in a debate this time around. And we believe ko Anyanda Kela. And also Ntoloka Memfanam ko Nimoli Amirako Talib is just known in Combo. Nkamera has a big misconception on it.
Okay.
Because social media is one of the most powerful tools.
Correct.
And Koko kake Kemo Bojang, Santon Kolkamo, Koko kake Santoron Tolkamo, especially political Camara. And secondly, we have made so many talent now, because don't forget, this is an individual that was the organizing secretary for the main opposition party in the country.
That is true, yes.
So I told Jamal like a talent now inside political Camara. So he knows the in and outs of this country. Kabo Foko and I be Tamale. And I am more long yellow do ho can you later. So aka prematurely Puriafoko, because he's a mayor of KMC, Komol Malo Sandoro Molialon. And I can tell you this fact.
Molialon. Yes.
Because we also have structures all over the country as of now. And we have bureaus in 9 bureaus around the country, and they're all functional. And secondly, when you look at the numbers, we forget Kombo South alone is bigger than the whole of LRR when it comes to votes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, votes member KMC in West Coast alone, where any Banco Beta encompass. So what people need to do is just know how to strategize, know how to play your cards, and you stand a very good chance of winning elections. But again, a good point here, Gambia people vote on personalities and rarely on what you have to offer.
Exactly.
So how do we change that, and how do we make sure we bring a new way of politicking? Is making sure people understand the gap between the governors and the people they govern has been reduced. So you don't see it as us and them, but you realize you are the same as the people governing you. But this is why the politicians or governors in general have continued to keep the people in poverty, have continued to keep people in the dark, because when people are independent, they make independent decisions for themselves. We need to be able to create welfare for the people. You cannot continue you are doing them a favor for being commended.
Yes.
For example, honey by election on banko kan kaje mansakunda man ka mole na man carte fa na candidate hoye alta do ko sunanu opposition to do fence manale no.
Yep.
When the people need to understand whatever mansakunda I menki is their responsibility to do it. You know, for example, Kabinda KMC in our first time. Nimolwe aliyenyinga don't take mal because is either na mol malong na documenti or the level was just so low.
Yeah, it's ignorance. Yes.
Ndolkata anka mol lambali tota moli aje ko mukulti me alon ko nene ma jono. You know. Yeah, but it just shows you where governance is in this country.
Yeah.
And when so basic things like that, they fascinate me because wow. You know, because there's so much that needs to be done in this country. So for us, we like the battle of ideas. So never see that. Whoever is best for the country, alama alliance somehow will marry na candidate or what I'm best for this country.
Very good. Very good. Sounds good. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So we are almost wrapping up, but Kemo, the coalition also sign thing. Coalition la ko coming purunkanam found repeat menketa, and when the talks are going on, and the UMC I'll be involved kind of deeply because I left the banko. In coalition diamo, the fundamental we had Marijoba here last week. The fundamental anantal on a foundation of reform. Mul camera like comment last time, jump tale, two mistakes nga mensoro. Fenko MOU safetale, 2 parts according to Halifa Sallah. The other one was signed. The other one, the maintenance operational killer, how they operate. Amana sign. It is integrated. So I told them strategy like this time around. Instead of focusing on member killer leader and so forth, waran wo fanam sita no ka coalition no hijack no next coalition to make it the same way coming Barrow ya kenyaming at a constitutional pass at political dundelaje, National Assembly to ben na constitutional pass, we cannot get the reform agenda. Atulka Munidiamu sign instead of repeating the same thing that happened last time. What are the new things? Because Madi was really looking at common transitional. Let's say we put civilian only and they put transition team together for 2 days. They set on the side. Then
I think those are extreme. I think those are extreme.
Ninga for reform will be put together for Bambanta politicians after the 2 years.
So saying what about nakeda civilian no keda commander in chief sidung akafa na ndejila do mbekela nyali.
So all of them quote wala tina nyinkomu dulati me alonka ananta kachala bakel. So I told the plan marila discussion on muotile nkai ko bantule men fire with them go back and aliala plan on aliala refine. Any more ideal put together, then we can come back to the platform. I don't as a Gambian protect putting institutional reform. Let it be centered on that after winning this election from Barrow, because now the Barrow is going to go. Yeah.
Yeah, so for Yalan coalition building is based on trust.
Okay.
And Kabrin 1962, Gambia, we've been building coalitions. Even the fight for independence, Mojama Malo, but coalition government Lawin, 1962, legislative election. But menga ke election buka la government buka me because I mean trusted buka taraji. And secondly, there are always biases because more ke la ika I think coalitions that are set up by politicians themselves is very difficult to work because more killer interests and more killer biases. No matter what they need to do is called civil society or generally people that are not part of political parties need to take the leadership in this because Ning UMC are formed. There'll be UDP Buffalo will not come, for example, because Dr. Mane or Yafaleko, they are not gonna join us, right? Because they feel so there's a tendency in UMC like initiate. Other people are gonna say they're not gonna join. If GDC line initiate, someone else would say they're not gonna join. If Keba Madi line initiate, someone else is gonna say that. If UDP line initiate, I don't think anybody will join. So so if civil society or Gambians, well-meaning Gambians come together, they have no political affiliation. They be commanded on a table. I think it would make it easier for coalition and sort of, because then everybody will be like, okay, Nyulumang any interest sort of, but they want to see a country move forward. But at the moment, coalition discussions are very premature because they're just initial. Because until we're talking, there are multiple bodies who are trying to set up coalitions. Until we have spoken to almost all of them. Until we are open to listening to everyone. But if Madi I think is a bit extreme because you cannot put people mandate sort of. Ita all Kalano in charge. We are not going through a war or we are not going through, Kafoko, Mbota Kelola Kono or Mbota coup d'etat Kono. We need a transitional council. No. Untolo after Menante personally, I want President Barrow, Yaganye, IG honorably, I transition and hand over. Gambia has never had a peaceful transition. Covering 20 there was no proper handing over. Political impasse. It always breaks our governance system or our governance process. At least we need to be able to enjoy that peaceful transition. So Kafuko civilian only now for a mandate at time. Let's just go through an election. Let us build a coalition. Near coalition or bill. It's Mobe is mutually respected. Yeah, Mobe a Jew dealer. Kana fontela waratantela doyata. Ntela nyanta lead ntela nyanta kalatem. We go through a process. Candidate or select me and cancer can on leadership. Negotiation or we go through the process. Gambians give us 5 years. Well, I'm talented. Name and deliver. Then elections are like exams for politicians. Near Moka Plaso, a man deliver, marked down. So in position and we're going to listen to everyone. But now at Osita, we will consult the Gambian people, we'll consult our supporters, and we'll make a decision which is best for everyone.
Okay, so that brought us to the unless Sam has something to add, Purka add the coalition or code. But saying Bob Binala Bemunda Nanyinkang, Nanyatu Sinning, Ningale News Yama, Purunga Nanying Kujibe, how far Allah coalition dia Motata Yamming. But do fan kudo observation do fan bije equal UMC our concentration is around Combo. And we have mentioned most of the votes are around Combo. But saying, this is a simple majority.
No, so clarify. My concentration is around. I said we are.
No. Molka wala for mulu.
Okay.
Iko KM mafa wala aning maybe West Coast. Ali wolto ala almam santola mafa wala. Komen na nyomi nyol mafa wala mbadi bu nyol makara bolon kono nyol mafa wala. Maybe almang mfanki woto follow. Yajela. So saying nimu electional jimea lonko. Do or die, any vote is matters. So, momenta any restara because West Coast ma from big competition on it. So UMC, I told them when kekang, purika basenyul ma fonla, kianyul ma fonla, purika impact so je. Ngamo ikali biro 9, ale wolo low. What else can for next election? The election.
So we have more than 9 bureaus, but regional bureaus well of 90 because we have one national bureau. But in Tolu, our presence is everywhere around the country. I can tell you, we have people there, UMC. WhatsApp group will be more community engagement. Ali ajale kabri na coordinators minute ke LRR moli ajale moli finita nyami. So nyimko mobe ketale ko, but I can tell you ko UMC is now a household name in every corner of this country. And we have people, dedicated Gambians, they are working and serving our, our movement. In fact, this coming week, nale video if you didn't video Ibrahima di Banjol be video ke mba foka mba announce kam moria ko nadia ale mina fintila kabula mulkan pro kan na social bill around the country. So people sa lo nyama be futale male pro mol me ko interest to serve in executive positions police fintina puri tara movement o nyin kono ntolo. I can tell you ko nadia ale nka menyi ni baso tolale ntolo mantara jankan mo how ntolo mantara janka bulay mo no. But I can tell you for a fact ko United Movement for Change nadia ale nka change men commanding ba samanan nale andun tolle sa nyimbanko samano no dum na kada ko people disagree, they have every right to do that, but in the end kuro ba ko enale nte mbenu kafole kono sai nga difference o jele andu nga lonne andu nadia dale momo fana membe na kafo kono be alone ko ka tamanyame jiko bi jele. So moli ya mutam fedoro nadia dale Gambia ka fele men nyini mbadi le ka do tolle ko nye lafta alternative from the two main participants bijam wo alternative nga wala dila. So nadia dale fana be fani wa jela wotole ala ko ta boy.
Okay, abaraka bake. Sam, ni fenso to purkara po because manafika ke Momodou comments no ke kan ba finka kambari. The information jabale dikang so sina ke mo fo bula na final fan call for, but ni point do so then ganyin kala na we can allow that.
Yeah. No, let's go. Good time is running out. And then I'm sure he has stuff to do.
Yeah, definitely
yeah, and definitely what about Salola. So, but anyway, maybe final word for. But again, until our main focus at this point now is to have a coalition, because Sembo Besutla wala to proka Nimasakunda Jindi is I just done 2 terms la. Wo kumata back. It was Sembo Besutla Nyawnya. It's very important that Ngakafunyo Makao. Okay, so but anyway, I'll let you say your final words and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
yes.
Mobe Tantula, Mobe Jaila, na supportal, Melmanken na supportal ti. Katung anytime is ita yelamoy, intaka believe like you don't only have to be my supporter for yelamoy. But Hanni can criticize to Mandu yelamoy, akada nyawnya cooking wala fula bije ibe sonna wala mfana. So njikita ko walebe banko sambalanya national conversation. So told member political conference of compromise nyoy. It cannot be my way or the highway all the time. So gambe dingol do nyantal la moy la walla welcome money for ilafta monella and fana nyanta wal dilela. So at this moment intakame for what is the best interest of the country alinga okay. Ngana jibe ko na partida interest of nyinti o lafta nyinna but falling but among or any change, they want valuable change. Member la balu falling member dignified livelihood deal. Mistake on America 2016 and Ghana the same mistake repeat cotton. And how can we do that? Is by electing credible individuals. It can be a team, it can be an individual. The United Movement for Change is ready to be part of that change. That being the case, because covering that in be I'm the spokesperson of the movement. I see the data, I listen to people, I know how well we are growing. That being the case, we're in contact back in Bafala Mobe Baraka, Baraka. Thank you so much.
Baraka Kemo, and we will have you here again. More data comes and a coalition all information also to Albeta Kanyami. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Baraka.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Sam. Thank you.